Tuesday, December 19th, 2024, Miamisburg City School Board meeting. The district mission is to foster a positive, nurturing, and safe environment to inspire and support ongoing learning and the development of individuals as productive members of society. We must be able to conduct our meetings in an orderly fashion. Our expectation at all board meetings is that everyone conducts themselves civilly and respectfully. In the event anyone is disruptive and interferes with the meeting, they will be asked to leave. If they do not, we will request that law enforcement assist in the process. Let's stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Amsler? Here. Mr. Daffler?
Here.
Mrs. Getter? Here. Mr. Mallory?
Here.
Mrs. Neese?
Here.
Mrs. McGowan?
Here.
Mr. Ogbibor?
Here.
Mr. Prince?
Here.
Ms. Stocker?
Here.
Dr. Blessing is not present. Mrs. Hillard present, and Mr. Homan.
Here.
All right. C, we have the adoption of our agenda. The recommended action, approval of adoption of the agenda for December 19th, 2024. D, approval of waiving the reading of the following minutes as presented. The regular board meeting held on November 21st, 2024. The special board meeting work session held on December 2nd, 2024. Then E, approval of minutes for the regular board meeting held on November 21st, 2024, and the special board meeting work session held on December 2nd, 2024. And then F, approval of financial report, November 30th, 2024. And G, recognition of citizens, staff, and students. And we'll start out with our November District Student of the Month, Levi Watson from Bear Primary School. Is Levi here? Okay.
The Miamisburg School's November District Student of the Month is Bear Primary School student Levi Watson. Levi was nominated by his teacher, Meredith Collins. She says Levi is a shining example of what it means to be a kind, responsible, and dedicated student. He consistently demonstrates these values both in the classroom and it is in interactions with others, making him a positive role model for his peers. Levi consistently shows kindness and respect to everyone around him. Whether he is helping a classmate pick up their materials or playing nicely with his peers, he goes out of his way to make others feel valued and included. His thoughtful actions create a positive atmosphere in the classroom every day. One of Levi's most admirable qualities is his sense of responsibility. He takes ownership of his actions, follows through with his task, and always does his best work. Whether he is completing an assignment or following class routines, Levi takes responsibility seriously and shows great pride in his work. His diligence and work ethic are evident in everything he does. In addition to his academic efforts, Levi is exceptionally conscious about keeping his workspace clean and organized. He is always the first to pitch in and help clean up after activities, setting an excellent example for his peers. His attention to detail and desire to maintain a tidy and organized space continues to the smooth functioning of the classroom environment. Levi has made tremendous progress in his academic development so far this year. He approaches each new learning opportunity with enthusiasm and a strong desire to succeed. From mastering new letters and sounds to confidently tackling math concepts, Levi has grown leaps and bounds in his academic skills. His perseverance, curiosity, and eagerness to learn have made a noticeable difference in his performance, and in this progress has made remarkable. In every way, Levi exemplifies the qualities of a model student. His kindness, respect for others, responsibility, strong work ethic, and commitment to learning make him an outstanding member of our kindergarten class. He is a true example of what it means to be a thoughtful, hardworking, and respectful student. It is an honor to nominate him for Student of the Month. So congratulations, Mr. Levi.
Mrs. Sunderman, I'm going to give you his medallion and T-shirt. If you could give it to him tomorrow, that would be great.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
All right, congratulations, Levi. Next, we want to recognize and show our appreciation for the Board of Education student representatives. Sam McGowan, Sosa, Oakenswa, Andrew Prince, and Sophia Stalker. And we have a little gift for you. We got the idea for it from the district roundtable that you all have attended, where they meet with student reps from other districts. So, yeah, we really appreciate you all, and I can't say enough about how fantastic you have been. And it was nice to see you at Kinder School today, working with the kids again. So you can maybe talk about that at the end of the meeting a little bit? Yeah. Okay, so thank you. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Next we have a resolution of appreciation for retirees. It is recommended that the Board of Education adopt a resolution of appreciation for the following employees. We'll start out with Mary Ann Lawson. She has worked 30 and a half years here in Miamisburg, and she's not here tonight, but I believe Mr. Amsler is going to read her resolution.
Resolution of appreciation. Whereas Mary Ann Lawson has rendered 30 and a half years to the Miamisburg City Schools, and whereas Mary Ann Lawson's performance, conduct, and sincerity in carrying out her duty has exemplified the highest level of achievement, and whereas Mary Ann Lawson has distinguished herself as a building administrative assistant, Miamisburg Secondary Academy administrative assistant, receptionist, administrative assistant to the Assistant Superintendent Director of Pupil Services, and administrative assistant to the Director of Student Services. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Miamisburg City School Board of Education pass this resolution as a token of its appreciation for her outstanding conduct, and that such resolution become part of the permanent minutes of said Board of Education dated December 19th, 2024. Congratulations, Ms. Lawson.
So Mary Ann was not able to be here this evening, but we were able to gift her. She chose a bowl for her 30 years and gave her her resolution this afternoon as well. So.
All right, next we have Pam Bell. She's worked in the, I'm not sure if she's worked in the treasurer's office the whole time, but 25 years. And I believe, are you going to read that, Mr. Daffer? Okay, thank you.
Resolution of appreciation. Whereas Pam Bell has rendered 25 years service to Miamisburg City Schools, and whereas Pam Bell's performance, conduct, and sincerity in carrying out her duties has exemplified the highest level of achievement, and whereas Pam Bell has distinguished herself as an assistant to the treasurer of the Miamisburg City School District, now therefore be it resolved that the Miamisburg City School Board of Education pass a resolution as a token of its appreciation for her outstanding conduct, and that such resolution become parts of the permanent minutes of said Board of Education. Thank you, Pam Bell.
And we did Pam's this afternoon as well. Pam's very shy if you've ever met Pam. She's been in the treasurer's office, I think, at the same desk for 25 years down there. So So she wanted to pass, both Mary Ann and her wanted to pass on to the Board of Education their appreciation and gratitude to being able to work for the district for that number of years. So.
All right, this next lady, she's been contributing to education before she started her career in education. I had some of her kids in my class, and she made homemade cookies that were shaped like letters and numbers and butterflies. She made curtains for my room. This is just one fabulous lady, and we're going to miss her a lot. And we're going to have, I think, Mrs. Gooder read her resolution. Come on up, Mrs. Naylor.
Resolution of appreciation. Whereas Becky Naylor has rendered 20 years service to Miamisburg City Schools, and whereas Becky Naylor's performance, conduct, and sincerity in carrying out her duty has exemplified the highest level of achievement, and whereas Becky Naylor has distinguished herself as a MH paraprofessional in the Miamisburg City School District now. Therefore, be it resolved that the Miamisburg City School Boards of Education pass this resolution as a token of its appreciation for her outstanding conduct, and that such resolution become part of the permanent minutes of said Board of Education, dated December 19th, 2024. Congratulations, Becky.
You get a bell. I know. And then Nyla has your resolution for you.
Thank you.
So what are some words of wisdom that you'd like to give to all of us? Big plans for your retirement?
Family. And that's only a small portion of them. Just enjoy what you're doing. The kids are fantastic, and they're so worth it. You get more from them than they get from you.
And you have, I know you started back with me in Medlerview.
Yes.
And you have always, in every situation, always handled our students with grace, and you always have done what is best for the students. And you've built lots of loving relationships with them, and you know they still come back and see you, so
Hopefully
thank
come
you.
back and see them.
Thank you very much. And make sure you don't leave right away. We do want to get a picture with you over there, and then we want to get one with your family too that came to support you. So
Thank you.
congratulations, Becky.
Doing a picture now.
We'll wait and we'll get Jackie's too. How's that?
Sounds good. All right.
All right, next we have Jackie Bentley, who's worked 31, and Mrs. Naylor, I apologize, I think I forgot to say that you've worked 20 years. And then Jackie Bentley, this is was her 31st year in education, and once again, Jackie was contributing to education before she started her career, working with kids on best practice interventions. The two amazing things about these women, the school their kids attended were schools where kids walked to school, and they lined up every morning with their parents. And the way they treated the kids and the other parents was just amazing, and just spoke so well of them. And it didn't matter, it wasn't just about their kid, it was about every kid in that classroom. They made them feel so welcome. I'll have Mr. Mallory read Mrs. Bentley's resolution.
Is Mrs. Bentley here?
Yeah,
She
come on
is.
up.
I'll wait for you to walk the column for me. Whereas Jackie Bentley has rendered 31 years service to the Miamisburg schools, and whereas Jackie Bentley's performance, conduct, and sincerity in carrying out her duty has exemplified the highest level of achievement, and whereas Jackie Bentley has distinguished herself as a playground aide, crossing guard, lunchroom aide, special education assistant, and multiple disability instructional assistant. That's a lot of roles. Now, Now therefore, be it resolved that the Miamisburg City Board of Education pass this resolution as a token of its appreciation for her outstanding conduct, and that such resolution become a part of the permanent meeting minutes of said Board of Education meeting on December 19th, 2024.
And Jackie, we have a bowl for you with your years of service engraved on it. So we are wishing not only you and Becky off, but once again, 31 years and lots of things that you did. And once again, it's been such a pleasure to work with you through all the years. And you've worked with a lot of our students that really needed assistance to help throughout the years. And you never ever gave up on them. You cared for them as your own. And I know as working when you were in my building, you were a blessing to us and our kids. So congratulations on a well-deserved retirement. Well, thank you very much.
Our speech.
That's okay. And then we're going to have you go over here, get a picture with you, and then any of your family came with you, we'll get a picture with them too as well. So the four retirees that we have this evening, four absolutely dedicated, outstanding employees, 106 and a half years, and four individuals that we're celebrating tonight. So big shoes to fill, hard to fill, but all of them have been such dedicated employees. They've cared so much for our staff and our students, and we wish all four of them best wishes and enjoy a well-deserved retirement.
You need to say anything, Mr. Chairman, about two of them down your way.
Oh, Pam Bell. So, I think my thing is broken. So, just being here for the little time that I've been here working with Pam down in the office and Mary Lawson upstairs, they're just part of this big group of employees here at Miamisburg that contribute to every single piece of how this place is put together. Pam had a big job. Payroll isn't fun, but she did it, and she did it right, and she did it well, and she did it with a smile. Maybe not with a smile sometimes, but it got done. And so she actually got to train a little bit with the person that replaced her, who is Patty Rang, who is moving on forward with everything that Pam had in place. She had a good procedure. She had everything organized, left everything good to go. So it's hard to lose a payroll person. So I wish her the best of happiness and luck, and hope she enjoys her time away from us.
We'll go on to
Yeah, do we want to go ahead and approve those items, and then we'll let them get their pictures, and then we'll move on. How's that?
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve meeting opening items C through H. A motion, please.
I move to approve meeting opening items C through H.
Second.
First by Mr. Mallory, and second by Mr. Dappler. Mrs. Hilliard, did you want to talk about the financials?
Yeah, I'm just going to recap the financials for you, which you have your memos in your packets. Just to go over the main points, the district had the general fund expenditures were in excess of the revenue by $3.4 million for the month, and all that sounds scary. It's not exactly as scary as it is, because if you look at the rolling plan that you have provided, we had some things projected to occur in November, where that property tax revenue actually came in early in October. So we had a higher revenue at that month, and it kind of set off our projections for this month. But the district's still functioning overall in the black for a general fund by $2.2 million. So we're still on track to move forward. Actually, our projections are right on for salary and benefits. If we break it down a little bit, our support expenses were only off by about $34,000, which is still performing pretty close to expectations. So we're just going to continue to move forward and evaluate our expenditures as necessary. Our audits are finishing up. We have several audits going on at the moment. We've got a food service audit, we've got our regular audit, we've got GAP audit, we have our Medicaid AUP, we have a lot going on in our office. But they're all occurring at the same time, but they're all getting ready to wrap up. So we'll get those closeout meetings scheduled where you guys can attend those and take care of that. Are there any questions in regard to the finances or the reports that you have attached, or? Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dackler?
Yes.
Mrs. Getter? Yes. Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
Mrs. Neese?
Yes.
And Mr. Ansler?
Yes.
All right. Next we go to public comments. Each person who wishes to address...
Can we do pictures real quick, Mrs.
Oh, I'm
Neese?
sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
All right.
just trying to get followed.
We told our retirees that part of the retirement gift is they do not have to stay for the rest of the board. So we'll have Mrs. Dobson's gonna get pictures real quick, and then Amy, do you mind getting a picture with any friends they brought with them this evening?
Right, back to public comments. Each person who wishes to address the board shall complete the form prior to the beginning of the meeting. Commenters will give his, her name and address. Each person is allotted 3 minutes to speak. The first 15 minutes only of public participation will be allotted for public comments concerning agenda items. An additional 15 minutes for discussion of other topics will provide a total time of 30 minutes for public comments. We will give a 30-second warning so speakers know when their 3 minutes is up. During public participation, each member of the public should direct their comments to the board as a whole. Consistent with our policy, this is not a time to question individual board members or district employees. As a reminder, our expectation tonight is that everyone conducts themselves civilly and respectfully. We will not tolerate profanity, frivolous, repetitive, or harassing statements. All right, and we have Ashley Cohen. Is that how you pronounce that, Ashley?
Cohen?
Cohen,
Yes.
okay, come on up.
Yeah.
Ashley, there's a microphone. You just hit the button. There you go.
And just state your name and your address before you begin speaking.
Ashley Cohen, and my address is 827 Fairway Court, Miamisburg, Ohio. So, it was brought to my attention that my daughter's classroom has been evacuated a few different times from a child that has had some angry outbursts. She has been complaining, and I took it with a grain of salt originally, that maybe it wasn't as bad as she was stating. I went in to pick my daughter up early from school on Tuesday and saw firsthand that this child was extremely explosive in the office with multiple different teachers and yelling and screaming, running himself into the glass in the classroom or in the conference room. And my child has struggled with anxiety pretty bad this year. She had to move to a new school with the banding, and she was complaining that she didn't want to go to school, that it was extremely loud, and she did not feel safe at school, which is something that is very new for her. So I reached out to her teacher after the incident that I saw at her school and asked mainly if this has happened more so frequently. Guinevere has told me that it has happened, it probably happens twice a week, that this child has to be removed out of class, and sometimes bi-weekly that her class is being evacuated. My daughter is in 2nd grade, yeah, so it's a lot. So not only am I worried about my child's safety at school, I'm worried that the learning environment is not conducive for her to, or any of her peers in class, to stay on topic and stay on focus. And I'm also worried about the other child that is experiencing the behavioral problems or the outbursts, that he's not getting the help and the resources that he needs. And essentially my question is why have I, as a parent, or any parent in her classroom, not been notified that my child has been evacuated multiple times? out of her classroom for her safety because they don't feel that it's a safe situation for her to be in. And what is being done, because clearly this is progressing, and is this something that my child is going to have to deal with for the next 6 months until she gets out of school in May and hopefully does not have him in class with her next year, but then will become a problem for another teacher or other students. So that's,
Right.
I'm just not sure what protocol is. I know it's very, very different from when I was in school. I'm just hoping to get some insight and to make sure that my child's safety and everybody's safety in her classroom is the top priority.
Okay, thank you. We'll have somebody get back with you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we move on to the consent agenda. A, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following overnight extended student trips. Seth Roberta Sharp, Heather Graham, Sierra Bennett, Danielle Marquardt, Gina Orwith, Carrie Schleb, Amy Onslinger, Kim Montgomery, the Miamisburg Winter Guard, WGI Regional Event, Indianapolis, Indiana, the Miamisburg Winter Guard WGI Power Regional Event, Indianapolis, Indiana. And then next we have B, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following out-of-state travel. It's the same students and the very same events. We'll move on to C. Michael Black, principal of Miamisburg High School, has recommended Faith Beatty, Miley Bush, Caden Dyer, and Keith Henry for early graduation pending satisfactory completion of all state and local requirements. And D, it is recommended by the superintendent and high school principal that the Board of Education approve Chloe Nelson for tuition-free enrollment for her senior year. Her board policy, JECB, in compliance with state law and board policy, non-resident students are exempt from paying tuition when the student is under the age of 21 and his/her parents move from the district following the commencement of classes during the student's senior year for the remainder of the school year and for one additional semester. Tuition-free senior enrollment does not extend to out-of-state. And E, it is recommended that the Board of Education recognize the following school support booster organizations: Bauer PTA, Bear PTO, Jane Chance PTA, Kinder PTO, Mark Twain PTA, Midler View PTO, Mound PTA, Middle School PTA, Muslim Student Union, Miamisburg Band and Guard Boosters Incorporated, Miamisburg Swimming and Diving Boosters, Miamisburg Visual Ensemble Booster Association, Viking Boys Soccer Parents, Viking Boosters Association, Miamisburg Gridiron Club, Miamisburg Viking Cheer Association, Miamisburg Wrestling Boosters Club, and the Distribution Education Clubs of America. And then F, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve consent items A through E. Do I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve consent items A through E.
Second.
Okay, first by Mrs. Getter and second by Mr. Ainsworth. Mr. Holman, do you want to speak to these agenda items?
So, A and B, the out-of-state, that's typical, has to be presented to the board for approval. Senior free tuition, we typically have those about once a month on here as well. And then for your PTAs and boosters and associations, they fall underneath our insurance blanket. And so in order to do that, as a board, we recommend that since they service our students and use our facilities, that we cover them. So therefore, we ask the board to accept them to be covered by our insurance policy.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Getter? Yes. Mr. Mallory?
Yes.
Mrs. Neese?
Yes.
Mr. Amsler?
Yes.
Mr. Daffler?
Yes.
Okay, next we move on to Human Resources agenda items. We have A. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following personnel reports. Employment in the Miamisburg City School District is contingent upon the candidate submitting to and passing a BCII and FBI criminal record check in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code and pre-employment drug screening in accordance with adopted board policies. Do I have a motion?
I move for approval of the following personnel reports.
Second.
First by Mr. Daffler and the second by Mrs. Getter. Any discussion? And Mr. Homan, you want to speak to that?
It's just typical monthly business.
Board members, anything? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mallory?
Yes.
Mrs. Neese?
Yes.
Mr. Amsler?
Yes.
Mr. Daffler?
Abstain.
Mrs. Getter? Yes.
Okay. All right. Next, we move on to agreements and contracts. A, it is recommended by the superintendent and treasurer to enter into an agreement with the Ohio School Board Association as presented. B, it is recommended by the superintendent and treasurer to enter into agreement with the Ohio School Board Association as presented. C, it is recommended by the superintendent and director of business to enter into an agreement with Energy Optimizers USA for the transportation underground fuel tank replacement aligned with the district capital improvement plan. And D, the superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the agreements and contracts items A through C. A motion, please.
I move for the approval of agreement and contracts A Alpha through C Charlie. Second.
Okay, first by Mr. Amsler, a second by Mr. Daffler. And I know Mr. Homan's going to want to talk about the fuel tanks for sure. Do you want to talk about the Ohio School Board
So-
agreements?
The A and the B are renewed every year, so that's just allowing us to renew our memberships with those two. So there's nothing really out of the ordinary with those two.
I had a question about this, if you don't mind.
Yep.
The first one is $250 for a legal assistance fund. Is that funding litigation?
It wouldn't be like the litigation that you're thinking. And so,
There was a class at the OSBA that seemed to like go after ed choice stuff. Is it funding stuff like that?
yeah, it's just being a part of the membership for OSBA so they can do those things on your behalf. And so it's not like the legal litigation that is outside of that.
So that Katrina said legal assistance fund is us asking OSBA on boards to support public education and to make sure tax dollars stay locally, things like that. So that's what they advocate for in terms of that legal assistance fund.
Right, so it's not necessarily litigation that
Yeah.
we're talking
It's for our
about.
benefit to make sure that, and really when they talk about school funding and trying to, lessen the burden on levies and things like that and fighting for public education, that's the meat and potatoes of it. That they're advocates for us at the table to go after and keep our funding going, so.
Which is why we get to join those conversations and have those inputs.
Okay. The only other thing I had is the $13,500 or $14,000 a year in membership fees to OSBA makes sense since we're moving our policy to Neola soon?
So that doesn't have anything to do with the policy agreement. That's completely separate. And so OSBA gives not only like representations and stuff like that, but you get to do certain courses and classes, and several people benefit from that without having to pay additional dollars to be able to attend all of that. So there's a lot more that comes with that. We can always send you sort of what you sign up for when you get that, but there's a lot more to just joining the membership. There's a lot of things that come with it.
Yeah, it's like the pipeline that keeps us updated on what's happening, not only in education and bills and legislation for Ohio schools, but across the nation in terms of patterns and things that we need to be aware of is coming as well.
I personally have reached out to many of the attorneys, and they've been very helpful. So that's made it very worthwhile as well. They really can't give legal advice per se, but they can help you navigate situations. And it's been so helpful. I know some of you have as well.
And aren't there online classes available to us as well through that?
That's why I said the trainings, like
Yeah,
we're
we
not
don't
paying
have any
additional
additional,
dollars.
yeah, no additional charge for that.
Yeah, they have free trainings. They have those coffee chats that you can register for. A lot of good information. So, Mr. Hammond, you want to talk about those fuel tanks?
Oh, yes. I feel like it's been almost a year in process here with the fuel tanks. So we are part of the TIPS consortium. And so when you're part of a consortium, they go out and do all the bidding for you, so you don't have to worry about the legal aspects of those, and they go out and they get the best bids on contracts to put these together. And so, we were talking about the underground fuel tanks when the 12th Street transportation was built in the early 90s. Those were actually moved from Mark Twain. So we have gotten more than our money's worth out of 45 plus years out of those fuel tanks. And so this project incorporates removing both the 10,000 gallon tank and the 6,000 gallon tank and replacing it with one 12,000 gallon tank. And so, as you know, we've talked through spending a lot of money on the rust within those tanks is causing issues with our fuel injectors and all those things within the buses, and those get very expensive to replace. And so as we work through this project, we've spent a lot of time with the city and the fire department, or the fire marshal, and all those to make sure we're all in compliance with that. And based upon everything, we chose to go back underground, with it in terms of that. And so as we go through this, once we get this approval, we'll begin the soil sampling to go through in terms of that. Also, we're going to work with them on the timeline. It's about a 12 to 14 week turnaround for the underground tank. And so when you start looking at the calendars for that 12 to 14 time turnaround, you're kind of almost in May. So we might get through all of the testing and all that done ahead of time, knowing what we have, and then do the project possibly over the summer, depending on what it is. But something that will be happening right away is we'll be installing a 2,000 gallon temporary tank over there. So we've been holding off on the semi coming in and fill it up, so we're getting rid of all the fuel that's under the ground. And then once we have the temporary tank, then we will start some repairs on our buses that have been out of commission due to the fuel that's been going through that's not been good for it. And so this is really, it's a full replacement of the system. It's full replacement of the pumps. The only thing that will remain the same is the canopy that is there. And then we are going to expand the cement over there in terms of that. Some of the buses are fueling. Part of our capital improvement plan is that parts of that lot get re-blacktopped over the next several years. So we're going to take a portion of this and actually put concrete like we put under the canopies for the buses. So there's always buses getting fueled, and that's going to help preserve that ground down the road. So we kind of worked a little deal with them since the concrete truck's out there, and he got it to get out anyway, and they worked with us. So I tried to get a little bit better deal to go in front of the bays, but I couldn't do that. So
$60,000 checkbook, is that just for a buffer, just in case? or
Yeah,
something?
there's a $60,000 checkbook, and that is for incidentals or things like, let's say, as they're doing boring samples and we have to get additional testing or things done, that's covered in there. So if that's not used, which I'm hoping based upon all of our tests that we have to do every year over there, I'm hoping this will be pretty smooth sailing. I'll just be glad when it's finished. It's been a project that's been
When's
a
this
long time.
supposed to start and finish?
Hopefully, once we get that fuel tank coming in the underground, when it's 12 to 14 weeks to come in. So we're gonna take a look, if it's closer to the end of May, or, May towards the end of the year, we might just wait till this summer to do it. So we're gonna kind of play it by ear and see how it goes.
So is it a 12 to 14 week install time, work time, or is that just why
Yeah.
you wait, that's when you wait for the contract?
Just the tank, yeah.
Somebody's blowing it up right now.
Start getting it ready, but it's something that we've talked about for multiple years, but we work a lot with Katrina to, so next fiscal year, so we went through the capital improvement plan actually a year ago in 23 at the last board meeting we had here. We were going to forego 3 new buses next year. And then we will forego a new bus in 26 and forego a new bus in 27 to kind of keep us on the cycle. But that'll give us that money to do that. So it's desperately needed. So anyway, you'll probably be tired of me talking about fuel tanks and talk about it forever, but we'll get there.
And so I have a question. So we vote on a lot of things as a board in combinations where there's items A through C. So if there's something that you want to support that's one of the items, but something that you would rather not, from a matter of principle, how can you vote? Do you need to abstain from them all, or how do you do that? How could that be done as a parliamentary procedure by a board member?
I mean, are you wanting to pull an item out?
No. I'm just saying, like, for instance, the approval is, the motion and the second is for A through C.
Correct.
So if I will first say I wanted to vote yes for C and abstain for A and B, how would I do that?
You'd have to vote to,
I'm just
We
curious.
can pull it out.
that's what I'm saying, you'd have to vote to pull
Yeah,
it out.
we can pull it out. If we want to do that, we can pull it out and make them separate line items. That's not a problem.
So you
Okay.
would amend, you would just,
Yeah, amend.
you would amend to pull it out.
And when is the appropriate time to do that? When we adopt the agenda at the beginning of the meeting? Or in the middle of it? I'm not asking for this instance, I'm asking for my own knowledge.
Typically it's at the beginning.
At the beginning, okay, thank you.
And also too, like, if we know ahead of time there are certain things on there, we can always break them out prior. We've done that too. Instead of saying, hey, we want to kind of take a look at this, or it might be, hey, we want to table this item as we get some more things or whatever. So we can always do that ahead of time too, so.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Neese?
Yes.
Mr. Ansler?
Yes.
Mr. Daffler?
Yes.
Mrs. Getter? Yes. Mr. Mowry?
Yes.
All right, next we move on to the financial agenda items. A, it is recommended by the Treasurer CFO that the appropriations and certificate of estimated resources be amended as listed in the attached reports.
That's it.
Yeah. Motion, please.
I move to approve the agenda items.
A second.
All right, first by Mr. Daffler and a second by Mr. Mallory.
Just to recap, that's just the normal appropriation and certificate changes that are made at Miamisburg monthly. This is the time of month where we make the adjustments for the grant carryovers that we were granted from last year. So those grant adjustments have been made and reflected in our appropriations as well, showing that we're receiving those amounts and appropriating them right back out.
Any questions, concerns? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ansler?
Yes.
Mr. Daffler?
Yes.
Mrs. Getter? Yes. Mr. Mallory?
Yes.
Mrs. Neese?
Yes. Next, we move on to acceptance of donations. It is recommended that the Board of Education accept the following list of donations. All monies will be used through each school's 018 account unless indicated otherwise. $200 from Caitlin and Jacob Hosletter for Mark Twain Primary School student activities. $2,643 from Office Depot to Bauer Elementary School for building furniture. $1,000 from Gilligan Company, Dunkin' Donuts, 9960 Summit Point Drive, Miami Township, for the MHS Athletic Department. $2,000 from Farmers and Merchants Bank to the MHS Athletic Department for the 2024 Kasaska Kick Match winners. Right. I think that's the new Dunkin' Donuts, right? Yeah, already helping out our schools. That's great. A motion, please? Yeah.
I motion to accept donations.
Second.
First by Mr. Mallory, second by Mrs. Getter.
Sorry, Katrina, I have one question. I had reached out to you and Steve earlier this month about how we could receive a significant donation for some MD playground equipment. And the donor wanted to donate a bunch of money towards that, but it had to be to a 501c3. Is there a vehicle that exists in our district that could serve as a conduit to allow that donation to happen, like through the boosters or something? Because we had to pass on it because it was a government, right? So I just sparked my mind to think that is there a way to something serve as a conduit to allow that to happen?
I mean,
I just thought of something.
is it monetary or is it equipment?
Money.
Okay, so monetarily, they could probably go through the boosters. It's when you, so I was under the understanding it was actual equipment.
Well, I didn't know what it was at the
Okay,
time.
okay, and that changes
The
things.
question was, are you a 501c3?
Right.
And
Yeah. And we can't claim that, so I mean, that would be something they'd have to deal with the boosters, and then the boosters could give them the letter that they're wanting for donating to the 501c3 and the taxes and so on with that. But then how it gets to us from the boosters would be the question, because it becomes equipment that has to be placed and followed procedurally for our locations.
I'm just thinking out loud here. Because then we could accept it as a donation from the boosters.
So the boosters could turn around and donate the monetary to us. It's when it's equipment that it becomes different.
And I think both Medlerview and Jane Chance PTO PTAs are 501c3.
They should be. All PTOs should be active 501c3s. So he should be able to monetarily donate to them, and he could do it separately if he wants it at both locations, and then they can do it.
So if when that happens again, just say yes. If it's a monetary donation, it can go through either the PTO,
Yeah.
PTA, or the boosters.
Yeah, and then they can make the
And
donation.
they can earmark it for the money for whatever they want. Okay, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Daffler?
Yes.
Mrs. Getter? Yes. Mr. Mallory?
Yes.
Mrs. Neese?
Yes.
Mr. Ansler?
Yes.
Thanks again for the donations. Next, we have reports. I don't believe Molly Williams is here. Did she send in a report?
I did not see one.
Okay. So next, we'll go to the legislative liaison, Mr. Mallory.
The last several meetings there hasn't been much to talk about. That changed in a big way over the last 3 weeks, so I'm going to make up for not taking up so much of your time. Unfortunately, I'm going to take up a little bit. So the 135th General Assembly is winding down with a flurry of legislative activity. A lot of it has impacts to schools. And I want to start by saying thank you to our state representatives, Rodney Creech, Tom Young, Phil Plummer. Their ongoing work, late hours, long hours over the last 3 weeks in the Ohio General Assembly, is very much appreciated and deserving of both our board and community's gratitude for their hard work on our behalf. So I just want to start by saying thank you for that effort. The first piece of legislation has been working its way through the State House is House Bill 8. It's widely known as the Parents' Bill of Rights. It passed on December 18th, the Senate by a vote of 24-7, and passed the House by a vote of 57-31. The governor has 10 days to sign the bill or veto it, or it will become Ohio law. Governor DeWine has signaled that he believed that we should have a statewide policy that requires public schools to offer religious release programs, and stated on December 11th he would likely sign the bill once some changes were made, which I understand those changes were made, and a couple of them sounded like that they were worthwhile. The general overview of House Bill 8 requires schools to tell parents about any age-appropriate sexuality content taught, and any health care provided to students, so parents could opt out of those services. It forbids teaching any sexual topics to Ohio students in grades K through 3. Schools will also be required to notify parents if their child requests counseling or asks to be called by a different name or pronoun. The bill would also require schools to allow students to attend religious instruction off-site during the school day. This is currently optional under the current law, and it was a small change, but they changed the word to may allow to shall allow to establish that. You got my PDF. Oh, cool. Well, I tried to put it together. And then a change was added to House Bill 8 yesterday that in approving the religious instruction off-site, that boards could also require that those religious instructors undergo a criminal background check to qualify to deliver those programs. The next one that came to pass was House Bill 206. It was a student expulsion revision. It passed the Senate 23-7 yesterday, and passed the House 61-25 on December 4th. Again, the governor has to sign or veto it in 10 days or it becomes law. I found this interesting because I didn't know a lot of these things. I'm sure Mrs. Lucas would better than me or Mr. Homan. But it broke out an event of imminent or severe endangerment as a result of an expulsion. And it defined that as bringing a firearm or knife capable of causing serious bodily injury to school, making a bomb threat, or causing serious physical harm to somebody at school, or making an articulated verbal threat that includes a hit list, threatening manifesto, or social media post that would lead a reasonable person to conclude that a pupil poses a serious threat to themselves, staff, or other students. That being said, my understanding is that House Bill 206 is for school boards to develop an assessment policy to determine after the first 180-day expulsion if a pupil still poses a danger to themselves, to other people, or school employees before returning to school. That assessment is described as by a psychiatrist or a licensed psychologist to evaluate the danger that student poses. The current maximum expulsion time frame is 180 days. Under this new law, if an expelled student does not meet the established policy readmission requirements after the evaluation, the expulsion can be extended 90 days at a time with no limit on how many times a student expulsion may be extended. There were two others. That was Senate Bill 293 and House Bill 445. Both of those were about public school release requirements for religious instruction. Both of those bills were added to House Bill 8. And at the end of this, I included a link to all four pieces of the legislation, some of the media sources and the articles that I took some excerpts from the explanation. It'll be in the PDF, so it'll be part of the meeting minutes. But in the meantime, anybody can read this by going to www.legislature.ohio.gov. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mallory. Next, we have our Montgomery County Drug-Free Coalition Liaison, Mrs. Getter.
No report this month, thank you.
Okay. And then next, we have our district news and information from Mr. Jaffler.
On November 25th, Career Exploration Day was held at Camp Chautauqua. Local business owners, employees, and educators hosted stations for the students to visit. Seventh graders from Miamisburg Middle School spent time at each station performing hands-on activities and hearing about career pathways related to each of those industries. Thank you to our curriculum department, workforce development, Camp Chautauqua, and the staff and community members who made this day possible. Myself and Mr. Mowry participated in this. It was a really good day. I feel like he did a little better than me because he got some thank you cards and I haven't got any. But it was a great day actually. I think I had a good time.
All it took was a nail gun to blow torch.
Yeah, right. I thought I had a cool Viking. So, you know, there is a little bit of appreciation that goes in because the later the day went on, to capture the audience was a lot more difficult. So, you know, feel for the teachers in some of those aspects because it's like, I'm here, right here I am trying to teach you something. So, but I had a great time doing that.
Thank you. Did we read the other students of the month? Okay, do you want to do that, Mr. Amsler?
As a reminder, our November student of the month was from Bear, and that was Mr. Levi Watson. However, we have other students within the district at other schools that deserve recognition as well. And from Bauer Primary School, it's Kinsey Choley. Jane Chance Intermediate School, Nyla Aston. Kinder Intermediate School is Carter Weaker. Maddox Lane Preschool, Mert Razikow. Mark Twain Primary School, Allison Littner. Medlerview Primary School, Addie Dunger. Mound Intermediate School, Noah Sparks. Miamisburg Middle School, Monroe Shoemaker. And from Miamisburg High School, Brenna Sloan. So congratulations to all the November students of the month. So, well done.
Thank you, Mr. Amsler. Next, we'll do our roundtable comments, and we'll start down there with Sophia.
Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this kind of short, but as Mrs. Nee stated at the beginning of the meeting, we went to Kinder today to start our next round of elementary visits, and we also went to Mound yesterday, and then we went to Bauer on Friday. And our new method works really, really well. It's just a lot faster and a lot quicker, and I think they can kind of backbone me off of me about this, but it just works so much easier, and there's a lot less bias within the students, like going with their friends and saying what their friends say. And we'll have the information probably at the February board meeting, so we're excited to share that with you guys again. And then I just want to say thank you so much for everything you guys have done this year. At the beginning of the year, I was a little nervous to speak at the meetings, but now I just feel so comfortable, and everyone's just been so welcoming. So I really, really appreciate it, and I've just learned so much. So this has been a great opportunity. And then I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and have a great break.
All right, as Sophia said, we have started going back down to the elementary schools, and that's been really nice. Our new method is great, and it is a lot faster. The kids are coming through, answering our questions, and heading straight back to class, so we're really enjoying that. I was going to say thank you guys. It has been a great year. It's crazy that we started this back in January, and the year is already coming to an end. I've really enjoyed my time. I'm sad I only have a few more months. I graduate in May, halfway through senior year. Yeah, I've had a great year, and being part of this has really contributed to that. Yeah, thank you guys.
I think Sophia summed up our progress with the elementary schools pretty well. We're hoping to get to the remaining 4 elementary schools in January. We're trying to plan for about 1 a week. It mitigates the time we're out of school, and I just think it balances out perfectly. Mrs. Neese mentioned earlier that we're part of the round table, and one of the House bills Mr. Mowry talked about today was one that we took extra liking to into one of our meetings. It was House Bill 445. And a few weeks ago, I was on a Zoom call with Representative Young. And I'm pleased to say that some of the concerns we brought up about this bill were actually fixed within the writing. So that's really good to hear, and I'll be sure to reach out to the other student board reps in the other districts tonight to share the great news. That's all I have. Thank you.
Not to just repeat everything they said, but our elementary school students are doing a lot better with this new activity that we're doing. This is about student perception. If you remember, the last one was about grade banding, so this one is about student perception. And we've already gotten so much great data so far. It's funny going to Mount specifically because people in my brother's class will be like, hey, you're your sister. Like, yeah, I know, I live with them. But I also wanted to shout out the board members who bought for my New York trip, selling actually these ornaments. This is yours. But I wanted to specifically shout out Mr. Mallory and Mr. Daffler. They donated over $500 to my trip, and they didn't use that ornament money, or that money for the ornaments for themselves. They used it to give to families in need for the ornaments, and I was able to help over 50 families, but also cover a lot of the costs of my trip. So I just wanted to personally thank you guys for that. I also wanted to thank all the board members for our gifts. I know all of us are very appreciative for it. I also wanted to thank for the great almost year that we've had so far. I've learned so much that I will take with me to college, and when I'm a teacher, seeing so much of the background of what really happened. So thank you guys.
I'm sorry, I had one more thing. I just wanted to thank the volunteers that have been with us going to the elementary schools lately. We have about 6 that have been consistent going with us, and they really make it way easier on us to set up the stations and get the kids through the line and back to class as quick as possible. So I told them today when we were at Kinder that I'd thank them during the meeting, so thank you guys.
So just a couple of items here. I know, Corey, you touched base about the career day in November, and give a big shout out to Stacy and her crew for putting that together. I think it's really important that as our young people move through, it's never too early for our young friends to really start thinking about what they want to do down the road. And had an opportunity to go out to Camp Chautauqua that day and see Corey and Jason in action with the kids, but the kids having an opportunity to know, like, wow, so that's an option, or that's an option that we can do. It was a great day, and I know a lot of planning went into that, and Stacy did a lot of that spearheading, so I want to give a shout out to her. And then also, too, I know Molly's not here for MVCTC report, but I also want to kind of bring up, when we talk about careers, and whether your careers or college readiness or whatever, we have a huge gem in our backyard with the MVCTC, and the opportunities that it provides our students to be ready to go out on the job force and workforce is amazing. And so I really, we had almost all of our sophomores attend a few weeks ago for it, and there's a lot of spark and interest as they came back to know what opportunities and careers they can explore out there. So to our parents out there, I always want to remind them that MVCTC is a great opportunity, and many times, as Molly said, if they want to go up there and take a tour and see what they have to offer, please take advantage of it. As many opportunities that we can offer our students down the road, to the better citizens and decisions they can make. So keep that in mind. I do want to give a huge shout out to our Hope for Miamisburg. They have worked incredibly hard. KCS has worked tremendously hard with them as well to be able to provide some nice Christmases and holiday seasons coming up for our students in the district that families may need some assistance. And so the generosity of our local churches and businesses has been overwhelming. And so I just want to give a huge shout out to Hope for Miamisburg for really caring and loving our kids and being able to help those who need some assistance in this time of need. And then to our board reps, you guys have been amazing. I just wish we would have done board reps years ago. I think what has been very helpful to me as administrator, and I know to board members, is to hear firsthand and to take part in the discussions. And it's kind of like, we go to our teachers to hear the boots on the ground. We hear the boots on the ground for our students and what's happening. And that's very important for us to hear, because at the end of the day, we're all here for one reason, and it's for our students. So thank you very much and sharing that with us. So closing out, have a Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever holiday you celebrate, take the time and most of all enjoy it with your family and friends. It's a good time to recoup and all that and enjoy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the Hope for Miamisburg Christmas shop was amazing. The way this community comes together for students, all the toys and the way that parents got to shop for what they wanted to get their child, it was just wonderful. So thanks to Mrs. Hess and the Hub for Miamisburg and all the churches and businesses, and yeah, just want to congratulate the retirees. I want to thank Mr. Freeze for always recording our meetings, and we have a little card here for you.
Oh, thank you.
Let me forget to give it to you. And just a happy holiday to all. Like Mr. Hellman said, we have students in our district that celebrate different holidays. I know my grandkids will be starting to celebrate Hanukkah on the evening of December 25th. So whatever holiday you celebrate, like Mr. Hellman said, have a great time with your family.
I love his microphone. I'm just kidding. So just as I tell you board reps every time I see you, keep doing great things, because I've sit in so many districts and you guys are the most engaged and you just do a great job. Like keep knowing the importance of what you're doing. These guys make decisions for you guys and based off of you guys, and they need to hear firsthand what you guys think, want, feel. All of the things you get from those little guys, they're all important. Everything is so important. So keep it up. And I hope you have a great break and enjoy your families and your friends. Same for everyone else. Have a great break, a great holiday. Enjoy your family and your friends.
Okay, I will start off with thanking the retirees as well. I mean, 106 years, 4 employees. That's impressive. Board reps, thank you. Hope exams are going well. One more day, half day, and we get a couple weeks off. So I know my kids are excited for that. And happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, and I'll see everybody in January. I will ditto a lot as our retirees leave. I always say anytime that you go out on your own record, you've accomplished a lot. And as I go down that journey here in about 29 days, not that I'm counting.
6 hours and 32 minutes.
But that's quite an accomplishment. I know what we've lost, and they will be missed. So congratulations to them. To our student reps, I concur with what Steve Holman said. We probably should have done this years ago. I think we have learned just as much from you as I think you have learned from us. But what you were doing inside our schools and for our students, and I see you guys out at different other events as well. So you are being noticed, and I think you guys just do a wonderful job. So thank you for all that you have done. Tim, I know it's a busy year for you, or a busy time for you, so appreciate everything that you do in the evenings for us. I know it's once a month, but it sometimes can be a few hours, and with this time of the year, it doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you. Lastly, or the second to the last thing, I know, Ann, you've been in that seat now for a year. That's a thankless job. I've been there before. And thank you for everything that you have done in sending emails or phone calls or whatever. And with that being said, Mr. Corey, as they say, you're on deck. You will do a fine job. We are a team, and we are here to support you. So with that being said, to both of you, I think we will hit 2025 without a hitch. And with that being said, as we celebrate the holidays and we get a much-needed break, I want to wish all of our students and staff just the remembrance of, it's not so much the gifts that you get under the Christmas tree, as Mr. Homan would said, it's the appreciation of being with family and friends and celebrating the year together. So with that being said, I will say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hopefully everybody has a safe and wonderful holiday.
Well, you all have stolen my thunder. Congratulations to all the retirees and best wishes for your next adventure. Especially thank you for your dedication. You know, 30 years, 20 years, that's significant, and I appreciate that so much. And thank you to the student school board members for all their hard work and accomplishments. It has been my pleasure to get to know you over the last few months, and I look forward to what is in store for you in the future. And then, of course, thank you to Mr. Freeze for preparing the video for all our meetings in 2024. Your help is invaluable. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and blessings in 2025. Next.
I guess I'm up. First I want to take a minute and thank the parents of our community who come to our board meetings and courageously stand up there and let us know your concerns for your students. We hear you, and we appreciate your input, and it's very important that we continue to hear from you as you have concerns. So thank you so much for taking the time to do that. I also want to thank the retirees. I never had the privilege of meeting Pam Bell, but her husband used to babysit me when I was young. Bobby, yeah. So our parents were good friends, and I was hoping to encourage her that she could now babysit him later in life. Anyway, congratulations to all our retirees. Camp Chautauqua was dynamite. It was a great venue. I know Stacy was incredibly nervous, and it was a lot to coordinate, but she nailed it. She did a great job. The venue was great, and I really think that could be just a stepping stone to something to be really awesome in the next couple of years as we build and grow on that. Don't you agree, Corey?
I agree.
Pretty cool. It's Christmas, and everybody thinks about getting gifts, and I'll tell you, I want to thank these students that wrote me these cards, and I'm going to read their names because it's just awesome. So this student's name is Kimura. This student's name's Cody Brandt. This student's name was Caden from Rotation 4. And this one was Camila Hernandez. And I know the camera won't do a good job, but when you get old, you just love getting hand-drawn pictures that kids drew. I mean, it's just awesome. But that, for something that I was so nervous about, it was one of the most rewarding days that I've had all year long in any aspect of my life. And just after that day, I had a lady from my neighborhood, Mrs. Bonner, reach out to me and ask me if, said her son Bryce wanted to come over to my house and have me help him build 3 more Christmas trees for his family members. So He came over Friday morning after Thanksgiving, and we built those in my garage, and he was excited that he could hold the nail gun. I don't want anybody to think that I just gave a kid a nail gun and walked off. I held it, and I let them pull the trigger, and held the torch, and I was very careful. I tried to respect the fact that none of them were my kids there. But Bryce enjoyed the fact that he got to play with that stuff a little bit one-on-one, and he sent me a nice thank you cartoon. I appreciate that. My admiration for the student reps, too, you know, I'll have to admit, I kind of wonder what you guys would do when this all first started. You know, I kind of wonder what I would do. You know, a year ago, this was all new to me like it was you. And, you know, listen to Andrew talk about his engagement with our state representatives. They appreciate that. They listen to you. And how rewarding is it to be on a local level participating on something that's happening in legislation in Columbus, and then it comes back to you, and you can see you had a little hand in whether it's the sports extending, you know, the gym credits or the House Bill 445. It's cool, and I hope it helps you guys realize at such a young age that, you know, on a local level, staying involved in the world around you and trying to be a part of helping it be a better place. It's important. You're welcome. I appreciate the thank you, but I have to tell you, I am so impressed by you. I really am. I mean, when you reached out to me and you said, hey, will you help me buy a couple of this? I was like, sure. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to see what you can do. And I was like, I gave you a goal. And I called Mr. Daff and I was like, oh my gosh, she made it. She sold 50 of them. So, but you know, the key to that being such an awesome thing for me is you went out and did it. And, you know, I want to inspire kids to mentor other kids and reach out and help others around them. And if kids like you reach out and help 5 or 6 other kids around you, you would be surprised how fast this world can change if you take that perspective every day of your life. So you have a lot to be proud of, and I'm glad I could have a little bit of a part of that. 2 other things real quick. Last week at Wittenberg University, our competition cheer teams for middle school and high school competed in the OHSAA state championships for Division I and Division II. We won them both. The Miamisburg middle school team won the OHSAA state title for Division I against all of our familiar foes, and so did the high school for Division II. So all those girls that work so hard and the coaches that work so hard, they have my utmost gratitude. So with that, I want one other thing. People get angry at us when we go walking into schools unannounced. So I made a commitment to the community when I ran for the board last year that I would donate all of the income that I made for the board back to the district. And I'm doing that in birthday presents. But they're going to come. Everybody will get their birthday presents a couple of times a year. So this year, I bought all the middle school teachers a coffee mug with the logo on it. And I took the liberty of just saying Merry Christmas 2024 from your Board of Education, from all of you. And myself and Matt Muncie and maybe Mr. Amsler, if he can make it, are going to hand these out tomorrow afternoon around 1 o'clock. So I know we're told to let you know when we're going to be in the building. So, you know, if there is any issue with that or anything that we need to move timing around to make it better, just let me know. But we wanted to get these in their hands as an appreciation, just a little bit of a gift. And also give Mr. Muncie a chance to get his self around the teachers and football players in the middle school. So with that, I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. I move to adjourn. Second.
Mrs. Getter? Yes. Mr. Mallory?
Yes.
Mrs. Neese? Mr. Amsler?
Yes.
Mr. Daffler?
Yes.